Hey guys, it's Jamie Scrimger here, second wife, stepmom of 3, and mom of 1. And you're listening to my podcast, where we talk about all things motherhood, stepmotherhood, and living a kick-ass life. If you're ready for raw and real conversations and are striving to live your very best life, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll provide you with tips and strategies and mindset shifts to inspire you to live your own version of a kick-ass life, while bringing you along as I create my own. All right. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Why are you laughing at me?
Oh, I just feel like I was just here.
You just were. We were recording part 2 of the
Story with Mom.
Interview with Mom. All right. So guys, this episode, first of all, if you haven't listened to the previous episode, go listen to that. This is kind of a 2-part series with my mom. So we talked about my parents' divorce, what I was like as a kid, and just kind of childhood stuff in that episode. And in this episode, we are going to go through and answer some questions that were submitted on Instagram from you guys. And it's basically just going to be a mixed bag here. So we're going to go through and hammer out as many as possible.
Sounds good.
All right. So we answered this one in the other episode, but just to kind of set the tone, what were her initial thoughts when she found out you were marrying a man with kids? Were you ever like, oh my God, I was 26 years old when Darren and I got together.
No, and I think it's a kind of a takeoff from, what we said in the other episode. You were determined. You were going to do what you're going to do. Your mind was made up. I needed to do my little checklist of 2 questions. Are you still good with it from 2 different perspectives? You were, and it was a done deal. It was going to happen once you had decided it was going to happen. So,
yeah.
And the second piece to that was that we did know Darren. Mm-hmm. We knew the family. So it wasn't like some random person from another country, 12 years older.
Yeah, no, for sure. From another country.
Meaning someone I don't really know at all.
Oh, right. So this one is from Endurance 89. Would she have been okay with you not having an Ours baby? So an Ours baby is Reese in the stepmom space.
No, I would have definitely wanted Reese, Reese. Absolutely. I mean, I think experiencing your own will always be different, I think.
Mm-hmm. Cue this upsetting people. It has been different for me. And maybe it's not different for other people and, people stepmoms who can't have kids. And it can be a really tricky thing to wrap your head around. But yeah, there definitely was something different about having Reese versus being a stepmom.
Now, if you were not able to have children or you chose, I do not want children, then I would have been okay with that as well. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I mean, I knew that you wanted children and I knew that Darren was a very good father. So yeah, it just kind of made logical sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So if I said to you, I just want to be a stepmom, I don't want kids, you would have been like,
fill your boots. That's what you want.
Would that have disappointed you because you didn't get the grandma?
I think my perspective on being a grandmother is that I've got 4 kids and I probably will have some. If you had been my only child, yeah, that would have been a disappointment because again, being a grandmother is a whole new perspective, a whole new, I don't know what the word is, but a whole new scenario, right? A whole new feeling. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Elgers asks, is there anything that her stepmom, so my stepmom, or basically any of Dad's girlfriends, did that really got on your nerves? How do you avoid that to keep the peace? You guys had nothing to do with each other, really.
No, didn't hear anything. It was only when kids would come to me and say, in special occasions like Easter or Christmas, that they're deemed to be an injustice done.
Yeah. And what you mean by that is one of my dad's girlfriends, who she already unfollowed me, so it's totally fine. She definitely won't even hear this podcast. Mm-hmm. She had 3 kids and she had 3 kids. They moved in with us. And so there was 4 kids and 3 kids. And she would do basically her kids got everything. Like she would hide groceries and snacks and stuff for them. Like they just came and moved into our house and just like ruled
and took
the
your
roost.
bedroom and stuff like that. So that I didn't seem to think is fair, but you know what? It wasn't my house. I mean, I couldn't say anything.
Yeah. And I think that's what's really hard for stepmoms or for moms or anyone in co-parenting situations, because your kids are essentially in another house half the time. And but you do need to get to the point where you're like, it's not my house. Exactly. I don't get to decide what goes on in their house.
Yeah. And the other part of it is that I knew that you still had another Christmas with me or another Easter with me. And I did do really good jobs on that. So it wasn't like you guys didn't have anything, you know? There were no holes in your shoes, let's say.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Next question. Okay, so this one is from Chloe323. Does your mom buy your stepkids birthday or Christmas gifts? My mom just does a small gift. So just wondering. So this has been a thing where we've had to talk about, and we'll kind of probably get into this a little bit more. So my stepkids are a lot older than Reese. So I think that makes a bit of a difference, like in terms of how we've always done gifts in our family, right? Like the older you get less. Like when you become an adult, like we're not like adult giving Christmas gift people.
Right.
So when the kids are with us on that holiday, everyone's yes, right?
Yes. We give gifts when they're with us, but it's not to the degree that Reese gets because because they are older, they're teenagers, they're going to college soon, they're, in high school. So it's a little different. We do give them something, but on the other hand, they already have 2 other sets of grandparents too. So it's a tough call. I mean, if I was a multi-millionaire, everybody, but it's a tough call.
Yeah, it is tough. And especially because as they've gotten older, and I think because of the age difference, like they don't come to all the family things because they don't want to, or they're with their mom, or when we're all together at, the cottage, they don't come because they don't want to hang out with family. So, and they're with us half the time. So they don't have the same relationship with you as say Reese does. Yes. So in a situation, like say you guys were all super close and everyone was like, it's basically kind of the family dynamic too. So it's hard, like, it's just a really hard question. There is really no one size fits all approach.
Right.
But I have had to say to you guys before Christmas,
don't forget
I will say, you guys need to make sure that don't even get Reese anything if you're not getting them anything. Yeah. Right.
Now, I think that if one of them was Reese's age, right? Let's say, Reese is 6 now and Darren had a child. I don't know how that would be, 7 or 8, something like that. And you're doing the Christmas and the Santa Claus and all of that stuff. Oh yeah, that's a whole new ball game. There can't be that kind of injustice because they're too young to understand that it is a different dynamic where Darren's kids can understand.
No, for sure. So next question from Jara Nulu. How did she transition into a step grandma? What's the hardest thing about it?
Step grandma?
You're a step grandma.
Step grandma. Well, when I first came in, being a step grandma, they were younger and you didn't have Reese. So when we did go to the French River and I was swimming with them and I was Grandma Carol and they were little and we could have been, able to build that relationship. But of course, didn't take them very long and they were older.
So there was like a couple great years and then it just kind of.
Exactly. But no, they were the grandkids and they called me Grandma Carol. And
I think they still do.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's Carol. Sometimes it's hey, you. And sometimes it's Grandma Carol. It's whatever.
Yeah. We're not a big, and this is sometimes where I struggle. We don't overthink things. I don't think. Like we're just kind of like, it is what it is. What makes everyone comfortable? We just kind of like go with the flow on things. So I don't think you love kids. So it wasn't like a transition for you. They were just
they were family.
Oh yeah. And they are family.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And that was it. There was nothing to think about.
Yeah. No kidding. Okay. Next question. This is from Plain Wanderer. What does she think could have gone better with her divorce? And we kind of touched on that in the previous episode. But I think we talked about it. We all just did the best we could. Or actually, I didn't do anything. It was your divorce. I haven't got.
Yeah, try to communicate better and more, not give up on it. It's so easy when something happens and communication's poor and there's bad feelings and you go, yeah, whatever. Well, I'm not going to even try. Like, that didn't work. I'm not even going to ask about the next Christmas concert. And everybody does that. And you get your back up and you don't, well, okay, that's fine. Well, coulda, maybe, shoulda tried more. Maybe could have called the school. I mean, there's so many things you could have done, but you were emotional. Plus I had 3 other children, all the children that I was raising. I was going to university.
Yeah. And you're talking about me moving in. So if you haven't listened to that other episode, you probably should pause this episode and go listen to that one first. But she's talking about, so I moved in with my dad and we basically we didn't have a lot of contact because you kind of felt like I kept trying and I kept getting shut down. So you eventually gave up. So you probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. You just go, yeah, whatever. It's not going to happen. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I think you do the best you can in the moment.
Exactly.
Okay. Same. So Plain Wanderer wants to know, what do you think of Jamie's job?
I think it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm very spiritual. So when I take a look at Jamie's job, it's like, look at how all of the pieces to the puzzle are now aligning in creating this job. Without all of those things that had happened to her in the past that would have been deemed to be negative, there's a huge positive. So in every positive, there's a negative, and every negative, there's a positive. And this is a great example of it. So I think it's fantastic. And I think it's absolutely needed because it would have been great to have some kind of support when I was going through it.
Yeah. How do you support, this is from Koji, how do you support your daughter in her role as a stepmom? You just get the vent calls.
I get the vent calls we're not a family that has to talk to their mother or their daughter every day. And I think one of the things is I'm very fortunate. I have 4 kids. So I'm pretty much guaranteed in any week I'm going to hear from 2, 3 of them. Right? But, whenever you need to vent or you need to talk or anything, I'm here.
And you give me some advice on step parenting too. Like when we're talking about discipline and rules and I'm like, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? You are a sounding board for strategies, I guess.
Yep. And that's what a mom should be at this point, right?
Okay. So the next question is, how did your mom accept the stepkids? And so we already answered that, but my parents weren't so accepting of the situation. So do you have any advice for that when there's the stepmoms whose parents are not jumping in when it comes to the kids? I think
you actually, as a step parent, have to go and have a one-on-one conversation with your parents and say, this is what my family needs. Can you give it?
Yeah.
And they're going to go yes or no. And then from their reaction, no emotion, that's how they are dealing with whatever they're dealing with. And then you have to work around and if they're not wanting to participate, then you have to do things separately or differently.
Because people get to decide. Everyone gets to make their own decisions and decide what works for them and what feels right for them and how they view situations. And if you have people who are super traditional or they really wanted this traditional route for their kids, because there are parents who are like, I want that traditional picture perfect route for my child.
Yes.
And they have to mourn kind of the loss of what they thought their child's life was going to be like and deal with it that way.
Absolutely. And then, maybe you ask your parents, well, okay, so this isn't working for you. Help me understand what is the best scenario here. This isn't going to go away. So how can we make it work? What are your thoughts? And a civil conversation and just seeing what you could come up together as new strategies and new plans. That's easier said than done. Absolutely. Sometimes, one of the parents gets mad and slams the door. If you can just try, then maybe write a letter. This is what the kids are needing.
And this is how I'm feeling. And this is what I Yeah. Okay. Sincerely Sam 92 wants to know, what does Reese do that reminds you most of Jamie?
Oh, she's just determined, little soul. She's not as determined as Jamie was. Reese is spunkier, for sure. But yeah, the determination, absolutely. Reese is just her own little person, though. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's just, Reese is just an adorable, spunky little person.
Yeah, I agree. I think that
Determination is the word. Puts her eye on it, and she's going to do it. She's going to get it.
And I love that. And I think it's very difficult to parent at times.
Yes.
But I think about the long game, and I'm like, I'm glad that she has that attitude.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Kay Mundy asks, was it hard for you to introduce your mom to your stepkids, and was it uncomfortable for her? And I think we've kind of answered that, but no, I'm not an overthinker. Like, I am like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. This is what's next. And everyone was super inviting.
Oh,
We had so much fun. Like when the kids were young, and I know it's going to come back because that's what kids do, right? We do have fun all together still, but kids are like, teenagers would rather hang out with their friends with their family. But we just had such a good time on long weekends and the cottage and stuff. Like everyone just had a blast playing together. So yeah, I was never nervous. And it's very much like you've been saying, like, I've always been like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. Like, these are my people now. Like, this is life.
There was no conversation from anyone in the family, about stepkids. I mean, we don't even use the word step. Like they're
the kids.
They're the family. The kids what we would say is, are all the kids coming?
Yeah.
Which would be no different than, are all my kids coming? Are they? And bottom line is, how many are we going to feed?
Yeah. How many burgers do we need?
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been the most difficult thing about seeing your daughter as a stepmom? And this is from KM Jones.
Well, I think it's not even just a step parent. There's two pieces to that question. One is the fact that there's so many kids, and I can relate to that. That's tough, having 4 kids. And the second one is that I think this is probably maybe a lesson for you, Jamie, is that you can't be in control of everything, because you are co-parenting with 2 other people, right?
Yeah.
So that's tough when, generally speaking, in a traditional role, the mother has final say on certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a father has final say on certain things, because whether we like it or not, innately, the 2 genders are different. We have our strengths and our weaknesses. But in your case, you can't have that final say. And it's, there's always the struggles, and there's always the war, or what's the right word I'm looking for?
I think there's a lot of words.
It's just not simple.
No, nothing's simple. And I think
everything's a discussion.
Yeah, nothing's simple. And you'll always say, when we're on the phone together, I'll be saying what's going on. You're like, oh, Jamie, you always say it like that. Yeah. I think you have a little bit of sympathy for me, but I think it's true. We're big believers that life gives you the lessons that you need to learn. And if you don't learn the lessons, you're going to find yourself in those situations again and again. And as Mom says, I've always been a bit of a control freak. And I do think that being with Darren and being a stepmom and just everything with my life right now, these are all the lessons that I needed to learn.
Yes.
And, I think it's been really character building for me. Like, I've had to learn to let things go, to not be such a control freak, to manage my emotions.
And healing.
Yeah. I've had to deal with stuff from my parents' divorce and just like work through all of my stuff. So as much as being a stepmom, like, frig, it's hard sometimes. Like, even I've said to Darren right now, I'm like, I am so over all of this right now. Like, I am literally just done with all of the little bullshit. Like, I'm just kind of, I don't have it in me right now. And that's kind of where I've been at this week. But I'm still glad that I deal with that, because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have to deal with that stuff.
The thing that I think would be probably the hardest with step parenting is, at the best of times, when you give birth to them, you don't like them.
You like them.
No, you always love your kids, but sometimes you don't like them because it's an irritation. living with somebody all the time. That just happens. Sometimes you don't like your spouse. You always will love them. But when you have those feelings, I think, as a step parent, it might be like, oh, gee, if I don't like them, that's a bad day. And that can probably manifest into something bigger than when it's your own kids. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's just
I totally get what you're saying, because so for instance, like if we have an issue with one of the kids, Darren and I will both be pissed, and we're both like not, in your words, like liking them right now. Like this is just not
liking the behavior,
this is not liking
them,
the behavior, whatever. But Darren has that paternal bond with them and that unconditional, like he's been their dad forever. And I don't have that. I don't have that same connection. Just like I don't have the same connection that they have with their mom. And that's, a lot of stepmoms feel, I'm just like sitting here thinking about the messages I'm going to receive from stepmoms for saying that on this podcast, because sometimes things like that piss people off. But that is very true for a lot of stepmoms. And so a day later or a week later, and I'm still wondering what we're doing about this behavior, or I'm talking about this issue, Darren's moved on because right. I couldn't understand that. And then when I had Reese, I realized I'm maybe a little bit easier to forgive.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the annoyances or the times when you don't like them or like their behavior or it's challenging, it's more difficult when you're a stepmom because you don't have that same, I don't even know what the word is.
Well, and that's why I think this forum is so good, Jamie, because you need to be able to, and I've always said women need to stick with women. You know, the world is not going to happen without women. Christmas will never happen unless women do it. Okay. That is one of the things. And with this forum that you've created is really, really good, because now you have given them a voice and a safe place for a voice. And that hasn't always even happened for traditional women.
No.
When I grew up, traditional women, as we mentioned in the last podcast, you were to stay home and you were to enjoy it.
You put a smile on, you get dressed, you get all dolled up.
And even your grandmother was even more, you read the newspaper articles where you were supposed to, get your lipstick on before your husband comes home and make sure the kids are all in their clean clothes. Like all that stuff really did happen. But you need to have a safe place to vent, have a girlfriend. But girlfriends, unless you're a step parent, won't get it. So this is a really good forum because you need to be able to speak your truth and then let it go. Because
you need to have that vent session to be able to move on. And you're like, okay, I'm glad someone else doesn't feel like someone else feels this way.
Exactly.
Okay. So last question here. And you know what? I think this is maybe a loaded question. So Irma Barsh asks, how do you feel about having two daughters that are quote unquote influencers? So sharing our life online.
The only thing that we always have to be careful about, I don't want to see it on Instagram first. I'm the mom and I always want to know about something first, except, you went to the playground and all that kind of stuff. But anything that's crazy big, I want to make sure that I know, because I'm the mom. I don't want the world to know before. Like it didn't happen. But let's say my daughter announced that she was pregnant with the twins, Brittany, that is, and that's where I heard about it. Now, that didn't happen, but that would be the only thing.
But on the flip side, I talked a lot about my fertility stuff, my infertility stuff on the internet. And that was an issue for I think, other people in our family, because they're like, Jamie's not talking to us about it, but she's sharing it online.
Yeah.
And so I do think you do sometimes learn stuff about our lives through our Instagram story. And you're like, what the hell? Like, why didn't she tell me that?
Yeah.
But for me, there's so many things. Like I'm very open online and I'm very good at like writing my feelings out and just all of that. But sometimes I don't want to have that conversation in real life.
And especially with your mom. Because
with anyone, like I didn't want to have, like, I would write blog posts and be like, I don't want to talk about this in real life though, but can you please, like, this is how I'm feeling and this is what's going on. So as someone who is a creator, I guess that's something I've had to be more cognizant about, because that did bug you. Remember you were upset that you were learning about stuff.
Yeah. Because didn't really know to all of the details on that. But far as being influencers, absolutely no surprise. Go for it. I mean, you're both leaders. You're both creative. It's a great thing. And just a sidebar, I actually did it back to them. They all went on a vacation.
Yeah.
And I had the twins. I had 3 of them. And so I just did an Instagram stories and they cracked up because funny. I was like, okay, I'm in the grandma-mobile and there's 3 short people and only one of me. And I'm going to record my life for the girls when they were done. And it was a lot of fun. So, but it takes a lot of energy too. So.
Yeah, it does take a lot of energy.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's a new time. I have to respect it because things like this we didn't have when I was growing up. To be perfectly honest, I can pretty much guarantee that in my age, if I was your age many years ago, I would be doing exactly like this because I was not that traditional stay at home, put your lipstick on.
Yeah, 100%. You so would have been.
I absolutely would have been. And I still, even in my small little, I have people that go, oh, Carol, you should do this. You should do that. You should show this. You can do this. It's just who we are, which is, it's exciting.
Totally. Okay. So one question that just came to my mind, I'm going to kind of blindside you with it.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like for you knowing that we were going through the fertility stuff?
Oh, very sad.
Like,
very,
I don't think
sad.
we ever dove into it.
It was sad for many reasons, that you're going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another challenge on top of your life. When life doesn't go as planned and you're the mom, it doesn't matter if you're a 90-year-old mom, a 60-year-old mom, a 20-year-old mom, your children's problems will always be your problems. I just can't solve them anymore now for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was very sad. It was somewhat sad too for me thinking that Reese,
mm-hmm.
even though she has, and I will be very cautious, she has 3 brothers and sister.
Yeah.
That she does not have 4.
Mm-hmm. Or someone with her all the time.
Absolutely. Someone with her all the time. So, but that's just what's happening.
I know. And
that's it.
For me, it goes back to, I'm like, okay, well, what's the lesson here? What am I supposed to take from this? Like, why is this the way it is? I don't know. I just have this faith, I guess. And I don't actually ever think, 10 years ago, I would have never said the word faith, but I just have this faith that things work out for a reason. And if it's supposed to happen, it will happen. Not saying like God has a plan that does, he's got it all set up for everyone. That's not my belief about things, but I just
mm-hmm.
think, or maybe it is, I don't even know. I try to have just faith that it will all work itself out because I do think it will. It is what it is.
And it usually does always work out. I mean, so many times you look back on your life and you go, oh, so that's why that really terrible, funky thing happened. That's why I lost a job so I could go into this. That's why this happened. That's why that boy broke up with me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want him anyway because I couldn't have had that life. Like there's just so many, even though at the time it might be the biggest heartbreak or the biggest disappointment or the biggest whatever negative in your life. And you look back and go, wow, that was a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge.
I've been talking to people right now who are like struggling with COVID and all the things that are going on. I'm like, you know what, somehow this could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Like a lost job has forced someone to go find a different way, or,
mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of people, and there's obviously really, really bad things that happen to people in life. And there's not always a silver lining
Absolutely.
with everything,
mm-hmm.
but there are silver linings with a lot of the struggles that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe in lessons to be learned. Absolutely. And it's constant. It's never ending.
Mm-hmm.
Always learning. My 94-year-old dad even taught me something about 6 months ago in a conversation we had. And I went like, whoa, that was a great thing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you always can be open to learn. You're always a student and you're always a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the step parenting, right? You look at yourself as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
To just more people, and the more people
I feel
that
like
love
a
you.
student a lot. I'm like,
You're still a student.
Well, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like screwing up learning lessons, figuring out what works, and just sharing it. Like, I've come a long, long way, and I love helping people get to the point that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But it's not like a destination or something you can just like scratch off your to-do list. Like step family stresses are just like parenting, right? Like
Absolutely.
They're ever evolving. There's always going to be some sort of something come up that you're going to feel like, oh God, here we go again.
And they're never going to end. Doesn't matter how old, you're still going to care for those step kids and your own kids, however the terminology you use, Jamie. But when they're 30 and they're 40 and they're having their own problems. The only thing that's different, is the biggest challenge, is that you can't solve them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yepper. Well, that's a really great ending.
I know. What would you like to know on positive?
Well played. Well played. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mom. This was good. This was
you're
fun.
Very welcome. It was fun. It was great.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll even have a career in podcasting.
Oh, you never know.
Actually, I never know with you. I never know what you're going to do.
Yes. They, a unique mother, I'm sure, but that's all right. But I have unique children.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you're doing a great job. So
awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, if you like this podcast, please do me a little favor. Take a second and subscribe on iTunes, and then screenshot this podcast, give it a share in social media, and tell your friends what you think. And hey, don't forget to tag me so that I can thank you for helping me spread the word. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you next week.